AI. It's a word hardly anyone used 10 years ago, and now it's part of our everyday life. But just like every drastic change, there's good and then there's bad, and this is no different for AI. So in today's video, we'll be looking at the main threats as well as explore some lesser known aspects of AI to get a better understanding of what we're truly up against. I've broken down the threats into 5 main categories: privacy concerns, bias, security threats, job loss, and a weapon of mass destruction. At this point, it's common knowledge companies such as Meta and Google collect large amounts of data, such as our personal information, which is then processed and sold. This process is only going to continue scaling and speeding up and becoming more exploited through the use of AI. And I think at this point, most of us have gone over it and really don't care about online data collection. Instead, the bigger privacy concern comes in the form of real-life tracking. Currently, China is developing a social credit system, which is a dystopian reality for those who value privacy. In a wrap, it's a network of over 700 million cameras that monitor and influence the behaviors of individuals, businesses, and government entities. It assigns social credit scores based on compliance with laws, financial trustworthiness, and social behaviors. These scores can lead to rewards like easier access to loans or penalties such as travel restrictions. This system obviously requires a lot of data processing, but not only that, it needs to be able to identify the person on the camera. At this scale, these activities can only be controlled by AI, and that's exactly what China is doing. In the last years, they've been upgrading as many cameras as possible to be able to identify individuals and even to predict behaviors. This ability to enhance tracking through AI will definitely play a major role in the future of privacy, and I wouldn't be surprised if all countries will soon be using some sort of AI tracking to provide data on their people, either for good or bad. Then there's AI bias, something that has gotten a lot of publicity in recent months. AI bias is a bit more complicated than just typical human bias. Instead of coming from beliefs and experiences, AI bias can come from either initial data training, the algorithms, or predictions the algorithms produce. So, for example, if someone wrote a bias study and the bias study was fed in through training data, that AI may now be biased on that topic. Besides the obvious concerns of just being incorrect, this could have some serious implications. When AI systems are biased, they can reinforce existing inequalities and discrimination. When pairing that with use in areas like hiring lawyers, healthcare professionals, or loan officers, you can really see the implications of bias. Since AI relies on pre-existing data created by humans, it's challenging to eliminate bias, as all humans inherently hold some form of it. Though, on a positive note, scientists have begun building roadmaps for identifying and preventing bias in their machine learning models. If this can be done successfully, we could use this in so many other applications to help prevent bias, so hopefully this will only be a short-term problem. Another threat we're facing right now is job loss. Due to AI, job loss is inevitable. Similar to automation, which phased out factory workers, many jobs will be taken over by AI simply because it's more efficient. Goldman Sachs predicts that upwards of 300 million jobs will soon be lost or degraded by AI. This will definitely be a big blow to those who lose their jobs, but this thankfully will be a short-term loss. Structural unemployment has been a recurrent event for hundreds of years, and it is seen as progress for society. This ability to free up more people from monotonous, tedious jobs will hopefully be a benefit for us in the long term. Nevertheless, it's undoubtedly concerning many, especially those going into college who now have to bank on their certifications not being trumped by AI. And finally, the best for last: AI's threat of being a weapon of mass destruction. I highly recommend watching Johnny Harris' video on this topic to really understand the full situation. Similar to privacy concerns, the ability for AI to take in and process large amounts of data to come up with the best possible tactic will give a huge upper hand to anyone who's willing to use it in war. This ability to virtually come out with the best killing tactic is similar to the invention of automatic weapons. When comparing wars before the invention of automatic weapons and after, we can see the stark difference technology has played in casualties. During the 30 Years' War in Europe, one of the most devastating conflicts in European history, which was fought between 1618 and 1648, it is estimated that 4.5 to 8 million people died as a result of the war. Now comparing that to World War I, when automatic weapons were invented, it just took 4 years for 15 to 22 million to die. Further technological advancements led 70 to 85 million to die in just 6 years during World War II. Now imagine the death count of a future war where AI is tracking every aspect of the war and figuring out the precise best way to kill the enemy using the least amount of resources. I think it's a threat like this where AI becomes most concerning, since now it doesn't take AI going rogue to extinct the human race, it just takes humans simply using it in the first place. This isn't science fiction either. The US, China, Russia, Israel, and almost the entirety of NATO is investing heavily into AI military integration. Similar to nukes, our only hope is that it never gets used. Now, the final bonus threat is rogue AI. To start this off, I want to explain to you the black box. The black box isn't fully understood, and it felt like science fiction researching it. Black box is the term we use for things AI does that we simply don't understand, such as some deep learning AI's processes. We quite literally sometimes don't know how they take in an input and get an output from it. This is from a combination of AI giving a poor explanation of the process and it being so complex human brains simply can't comprehend it. Further than that, AI sometimes has unexpected emergent behaviors that weren't explicitly programmed. The fact that we don't truly understand the machine we created seems like a mistake on its own, but there's more. Deep learning models use layered neural networks to process data and make decisions, similar to humans. When using enforcement learning to complete tasks, the AI sometimes takes routes not anticipated. That means AI fantasized in movies like Space Odyssey 2001, where the AI HAL 9000 killed crew members because they interfered with the success of the mission, is around today. I personally don't think it's an existential threat as of now, but when looking at it from this perspective, you can see why so many are pushing for more regulations. If you want to provide input on this topic, I invite you to join the Discord in the description, where you can have a conversation on this topic or help with future videos. But for now, that's it for me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.